Jean Shafiroff, and I'm on a mission. Anyone can be a philanthropist. My television show came from my book, Successful Philanthropy, How to Make a Life by What You Give. Won't you join me? Welcome to Successful Philanthropy. I'm your host, Jean Shafiroff. This show is designed to highlight the work of philanthropic leaders here in the United States and then beyond. Today with us, a fascinating man, a self-made billionaire, John Catsimatidis. John started from literally nothing. He then developed a global empire. He's a hardworking businessman, philanthropist, an all-round wonderful person. John, welcome to Successful Philanthropy. And John, can we start off by your beginnings? I understand you were born in Greece and then your family moved to the United States when you were just a baby, and to Harlem.
Well, my grandfather came to America in 1913, but unfortunately, and his name was John Catsimatidis, but unfortunately, he died in the pandemic of 1918. He left my father in the old country to take care of his three sisters, take care of his mom. And for 17 years, he worked on this lighthouse all by himself for 17 years to make a few lira, because the Italians owned that entire area. We're from the Dodecanese Islands, the 12 islands along the Turkish coast, was part of Italy. And he worked for the lighthouse. He worked for the Italian government, and he worked 17 years by himself on this one island. After World War II, the British took over the islands, gave it back to Greece, and he went back to his native island of Mykonos, which is the volcanic island along the Turkish coast, next to the big island of Kos. And he married my mom. My mom was a very educated person, originally from Constantinople, but they escaped the Ottoman Empire and moved down to those islands. He married my mom, had me, and they went to Greece. They went to America when I was 6 months old, and only in America, land of opportunity. My grandfather, who came in 1913, looking for the street paved with gold. Well, it took me 100 years, but I finally found it.
Amazing story. And I understand you started your business while you were in college. That is the business of grocery stores. Can you tell us that amazing story of how at 19 you opened up your first grocery store?
I was working part-time for this friend of mine named Tony, and I was our only child, so he became like my big brother. I bought a car. I was going to NYU Bronx campus when there was a Bronx campus, and I'm not going to go to my father and my mother and ask them I need $10 to put gasoline in the car. So I worked on weekends. I worked on summers. Just to pay for my car, actually. And then one day, when I was a junior, he comes to me and says, the other store we have, I'm arguing with my uncle every day. One day I'm arguing about this, the other day I'm arguing about this. You got to take over the store. You're going to pay me $10,000, but don't worry, nothing down. You're going to pay me $1,000 a month for 10 months. I said, I said, but Tony. He said, no, you got to do it. And he was my big brother, and I never said no to him. So I took over the store. I signed 10 notes, and I didn't even know if I could make $1,000 a month to pay him. But I made the store successful. Good old American know-how. So not only we were making, you know why partners argue, Gene? Partners argue because they weren't making any money. But once partners make money, they love each other. And I started making money in the store. So his uncle Nick loved me, and we both made money. And so life went on. But
from one store, you went on to more stores. And by the age of, say, 28, how many stores did you own?
Well, by the age of 24, I had about 10 stores,
Amazing.
making $1 million a year. And that's a lot of money in those days.
It's a lot of money today for most people. And John, so you're really known as the Gristedes man, the owner of Gristedes, but you also have a lot of other businesses, all which make you a billionaire financier and self-made man. Can you talk a little bit about those other businesses? Most of our viewers don't know anything about them.
Our main business is the energy business. We bought an oil refinery in 1984, 85, 86, 35 years ago. And we bought it in bankruptcy, saved 5,000 jobs, because you know how they go in bankruptcy. Larry the liquidator was in charge. He was going to liquidate the company, and 5,000 people was going to lose their jobs. Well, I saved that company. I paid the creditors 100 cents on the dollar. So the creditors were happy. I was happy. And that company was a large part of our success.
And so now, what do you attribute your success to? Most people say, well, I had a great mentor, I had a great education, or just hard work. And obviously you have a lot of intelligence, because no one can create an empire like you have created without intelligence. But what do you attribute your success to?
I had I had about 10 mentors. 8 of the 10 were Jewish. And I learned a lot of things from those people. One of them was Sam Stein, who owned a grocery company that I was buying our groceries from, our supplier. Anytime I needed to build another store, he would call the controller of the company and said, John wants to open up another store. Give him more credit. Give him more credit. So I was not borrowing money from banks. I was borrowing money from our suppliers. And I learned a lot from those people. And I would say the key to success is hard work, being understanding with people, and having the right mentors on going forward. And I try to mentor people myself now about how to succeed in life and how to go forward. And, you know, we're involved, as you know, with the Police Athletic League, and we do 30, 40,000 kids a year. We can't help everybody, but if we can help a handful or 100, 200, 300, 500, and give them the ability to look and work hard and keep their nose clean, and we save some of those kids from Harlem or Bedford-Stuyvesant, I think that's very important. And I get personal satisfaction because I was raised in Harlem. I made it. And what I say to those kids, I made it. I was raised on 135th Street. You can make it too. And we give them confidence that they have the ability to make it. And only in America, nowhere else.
I agree completely. And I think that you're really trying to help Police Athletic League and to help the children. For those people that don't know much about the Police Athletic League, I'd like you to talk a little bit about exactly what they do. But you have actually been a big force in that group, and meaning that you have been a great contributor and also I guess, a great leader. So I'd like you to talk a little bit more about the PAL and your particular involvement.
I got involved 35 years ago. No, yeah, 1984. I had one of my mentors took me to have breakfast with Bob Morkenthorpe, the legendary Bob Morkenthorpe. And I had breakfast with Bob, and he was actually interviewing me if I'm going to go on the board or not. And he was with Stevie Kaufman, another legendary lawyer in our community. And he chose me to join the board. And I've been involved for 36 years. And helping kids, I was from Harlem. I wanted to help those kids too.
It's really wonderful and so needed. And now getting back to your other parts of your life, I understand you're very involved with the Greek Church. Your roots are Greek, and you've been very involved with their philanthropy as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm the right now the Archbishop, the new Archbishop that came, Archbishop Peter Fodos, assigned me as Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors. And what does that mean? I'm the highest lay person in the United States and America for the Greek Orthodox Church, helping run the entire business portion of the church. My godfather and my children, Father Alex Carlutzos of Southampton, is the Vicar General of the church. And that's just about the highest position, both of us reporting to the Archbishop, and his largest position in religion for his being a priest. And our accomplishments, well, they had failed in rebuilding St. Nicholas Church in the World Trade Center. When the new Archbishop came in and the new committee, I took over, Father Alex took over, Michael Psaris took over, Dennis Meal took over, to help. The confidence that people had in the new team, we raised $45 million in 45 days from January 1 to February 15th of 2020. And we are rebuilding the church in the World Trade Center. It's going to be an ecumenical church for Jews, for Catholics, for Episcopalians, for Orthodox, for everybody. It's about a place to go and pray by the World Trade Center. And that's where the original St. Nicholas Church had gone down during 9/11. And our goal, which we will do, is to reopen the church on the 20th anniversary of 9/11 on 9/11/21. So we're working very hard, and that's our big goal for New York City. And it's going to be for everybody. You know, there's 10 million visitors that go to the World Trade Center, the monuments there. Well, we hope to get 1 million visitors to the church.
This is a great thing that you're working on. And I love that the church that you're building is for everyone from all religious backgrounds. John, you've dabbled in politics. I remember you ran for mayor, or you were involved in running for mayor in 2013. What was that like? And many people want you to run again. And they feel that you're a businessman, you understand business, and you understand government. And do you think you'll run again?
Well, we'll see. But I started in politics. Would you believe I started in politics in 1984? Me and Scott Stringer ran the campaign for Jerry Nadler for borough president. And my God, that's for 36 years ago. And a few years later, Mayor Dinkins, who ran against and won against Jerry Nadler, said to me, "Why, John, I'm your friend. Why did you run Jerry's campaign?" I said, "He asked me and I had nothing to do." And that's what people do in politics sometimes. I then worked on Michael Dukakis' campaign because I was asked by the Greek Orthodox Church to do it because of their respect, because he was Greek. And then I became very good friends with President Bill Clinton. And it was fantastic years during the years I knew Bill Clinton, from 1990 all the way to 2000. And the funny thing happened on the way to politics. My daughter married a Republican. He married Christopher Nixon Cox, who was President Nixon's grandson. So
I remember. I was at the wedding.
Yes, and you know, he's a wonderful kid. And for some reason, they didn't get along 100%. They still love each other. I believe they still love each other because they're always hanging around together, always. My daughter went on. She started as a Bill Clinton Democrat, and now she's a Republican. So what am I going to do? I'm a moderate. I'm a guy in the middle. If you remember, when I ran for mayor, I ran as a Republican liberal. Why? Because I believe in helping the people of the inner city. That makes me liberal. I'm a Republican. Why? Because I believe in checks and balances. So it's a combination, a common sense person. I ran in 2013. I lost against Joe Lhota, but not really against Joe Lhota because Rudy Giuliani was pushing Joe Lhota, and I lost against Rudy. And I had the choice of staying in the race as because I had the Liberal Party nomination too. If I would have stayed in the race, who knows what would have happened? Am I going to run again? Who knows?
Well, it would be very interesting to see you running, and I think a lot of people would like that. So you can announce it today if you'd like, or we'll wait. We'll sit back and we'll wait, and hopefully we'll hear from you sooner than later.
I may go on a listening campaign and try to listen and see if there's really a demand for another businessman to be a politician.
Okay, well, thank you. And now you've also been involved with healthcare. I know Stony Brook Southampton Hospital honored you and your family, your wife, Margot, and your son, John, and then your daughter, AJ, a few years back. And that was because of your philanthropy. And what do you think about this pandemic right now and healthcare? And I look at it as a top priority for all of us to fight this pandemic and supply the vaccine to as many people as can take it and want it. And what are you doing to help the pandemic, and what are you recommending to others? I know I've been involved with many different things.
Our stores, Gristedes and D'Agostino stores, were open all the time. We never closed. Our people were in the front line, making sure everybody in New York had food. Because could you imagine if the stores were closed, then people would panic. New York would be, well, it's a ghost town now. Hopefully it's going to get better. But we got the COVID vaccine done. I understand there's new, even more advanced vaccines coming, and there might be, Merck might be coming out with a pill where you take a pill, like a Theraflu type pill. But I think our object right now, New York City, has to make a comeback. We can't allow the greatest city in the world to falter. And two problems we have. We had the COVID vaccine, which we're going to lick, and we have crime in the streets. I believe some of the New York politicians made a mistake. It's time for them to correct their mistake and make sure our streets are safe. And that would be my object. If I ever became mayor, what my object would be, I would have the streets safe within 60 days.
Yes, well, I think everyone wants to see New York as a safe city and as a prosperous city and a COVID-free place. And hopefully moving forward, that will all happen. Have you been involved in any food pantry efforts? Have you been donating food or supplies to frontline workers? Tell us a little bit about your involvement as a business.
You know, we bought WABC Radio, and I bought it as almost like a hobby. And I wanted, when I was growing up, or you were growing up in New York, it was the #1 iconic radio station in the country. And I love music. It became talk radio, but I brought back Cousin Brucey. I brought Tony Orlando. I brought Joe Piscopo to do Sinatra on Sunday nights. And
maybe this is the beginning of the acquisition of many different media companies.
Well, I think it's important that we get our message out to everybody. I am taken back because when we were growing up, Gene, Walter Cronkite was believed by 92% of the American people. You know how many people believe the media today? 10%, 15%. And my object and what I'm saying to our people at WABC, tell the truth. The people are tuning in to know what's going on in our city, our state, our country. Tell the truth, whatever it is. And on weekends, I don't want to hear about COVID. I don't want to hear about problems in the world. That's why on weekends we made it music weekends.
I like that. And I do think that during times like this, which are so difficult for most human beings, it's very important to have entertainment available and for all of us to be positive. And with us today on Successful Philanthropy is John Catsimatidis. He is a self-made billionaire entrepreneur. He's involved in the media world. He's the owner of ABC Radio in New York State. He's also a philanthropist and someone who may be running for mayor of New York City next time around. And John, getting back to your world in the media, you love it. And something I love too. I love hosting a TV show, and I love having people like you on and hearing about your life. What advice do you give to young people right now who may be out of a job and someone who's really struggling? Because right now we have very high unemployment, and hopefully it's going to improve. But if we end up having another lockdown, things won't get better right away. Of course, the vaccine, the rollout is helping, but what advice would you give to a young person just starting out?
Go into a business that you'd like to go into and beg to be at least an intern. Because if you're an intern and you work hard and you're good, you're going to make it through the ranks in no time. It's happened with some of our interns that started as stock boys, and now they're running companies. Work hard, learn as much as you can, volunteer, and you'll be a winner. That's what America's about. The people that work hard can succeed in especially in New York. Every opportunity is open to you.
Yes, and getting back to the Police Athletic League, for all of our viewers, we are with John Catsimatidis, and John is very involved with the Police Athletic League, with the United States Greek Church, and a number of other causes. He's not only someone who's made a lot of money, but he believes in giving back. He believes in the spirit of philanthropy, and this show, Successful Philanthropy, is to highlight leaders who believe in philanthropy and do something about it. And John, at the end of the day, what would you like to be remembered most for?
I want to teach both my kids about life, about working hard, about philanthropy, about getting to know people, getting involved. I don't want them to stay home and do nothing. There's a lot of people who just stay home, do nothing. Go out. And I know you're the same way, Gene. You like to go out almost every night. And especially when New York was open. And New York will be open again. Get involved. Find circles of friends. If you get involved with the Alzheimer's Foundation, you're going to find a circle of friends there. The Parkinson's Foundation, another circle of friends. So I got involved in as many organizations as I can because I wanted to meet people and try to do good and whenever I can. Work hard, play hard, and take care of the people that are needy.
And that's so important because you have amassed an empire and you are a true family man. And I like that very much about you. But most important is your spirit of and your desire to give back to the community. And certainly a mayor would require that as a characteristic for sure. And now, as we look forward, you mentioned New York is coming back. The Hamptons have been quiet. The show initially will air in the Hamptons, but the Hamptons seem to be doing well. Long Island, I think, will come back. The United States is going to come back. And as we move forward, John, again, one small piece of advice for our viewers.
Have faith. Always look up. Be an optimist. There's no upside in being a pessimist. Be an optimist and work hard to make things get better. Don't work hard to make things get worse.
Well, I love your attitude because right now, with so much going on with the pandemic, and then we've had a lot of racial injustice, political turmoil, positivity is key for all of us. And if we remain positive and we support one another and we try to help those in need, we will all move forward. And that's what we need right now. This concludes today's episode of Successful Philanthropy. Our guest today, John Catsimatidis. I'm Jean Shafiroff, your host. I'll see you next week.